welcome to Vampire the Masquerade Dark City, our our Vampire 5th edition chronicle. Wow, I just shocked. I'm Doug, and I will be the storyteller. And I would like to introduce you to the rest of the cast.
I'm Angela. I'll be playing Lillith.
Hello, my name is Ryan. I'll be playing Herkermer Milton.
I am Xylus, and I'll be playing Charlie Allsun.
Hi, I'm Michael, and I'll be playing Hannibal Wagner.
So, first we're going to go into some shout-outs. I would like to shout out Vancouver by Night for helping us get connected to this wonderful community. You may see some of the people from those streams popping in, and later on tonight after we're done, I'm fulfilling a promise I made on Reddit to raid somebody else in the community who does fellow vampire streams. So please be sure, we'll be making sure to post links going forward for those other streams, and so you can catch more vampire action and so forth. Did anybody else? I know that Mike wanted to shout out some wonderful support we received.
Yeah, I'm really excited to shout out the Underground Theater organization. They are a tremendous organization that we are all members of, and we've all been a part of. It has been just a huge thing in our life for the last several years, and we reached out to them, and then they, in a sense, reached out to us. Yeah. And they have been, shouting us out, and we just want to make sure to return that love and that support and shout them out with every opportunity that we have. So thank you, Underground Theater, and anybody here from Underground Theater. I know a lot of you are members out there. Thank you so much for your support. We love you. Thank you so much for the wonderful years of LARP experience that you've, allowed us to participate in. Mm-hmm. And hopefully you'll all be able to see our passion for Vampire tonight in the same way. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I would like to tack on to that, like, to everybody who's here from Underground Theater or watching this on, any of the other places we're going to post it, like YouTube. We love you. Like it's been an amazing experience LARPing with you. Let's get into what we're doing here. So we're doing a Vampire 5th edition. For those of you who don't know, this is the book that we're going to be drawing from. Even though I know the rules and things like that, it's still very much a new system. We've been playing Vampire I've been playing personally Vampire for about 20 years. But even still, new rule systems, there's lots of little changes. It's actually harder in some ways to remember some little things. We're going to try to get everything right. But if we miss something or something like that, just, be nice. That said, the setting is Dark City. Dark City is basically, we're doing something unique rather than most chronicles you may see or have played in, take place in an actual place, only a darker version of it. We wanted to tell a story that was really shaped around the characters and had the flexibility. So it's a city someplace in roughly the Pacific Northwest type area. And that's pretty much the most thing, other than the details, which will be unfolding, and the more information as we go further into our story will come out. So with that out of the way, let's be fucking vampires. The sun falls. Night rises. Shadows eclipse the reality that was once present in the day. And they reveal a world, a city, an invisible city that stretches out of the alleyways, rises up from the gutters, that pulsates, pulling at those who walk along the streets, where they will become the next victims. This world of darkness and violence and blood, and most of all, vampires, is where our story is set. In this dark city, 4 lost souls have wandered. One who has woken up to be the creature that she does not understand and is afraid of the monster she might become. An outsider who longs for connection and purpose that they once had that will pull away from them. A rising star who rose to the heights of prestige and power and influence, who was cast out and cast down, hunted, and in exile. And a figure cloaked in darkness, seeking truth, hidden in a photograph, cloaked in lies, deception, and deceit. This is our story. The story of our dark city. The rain falls down upon a towering figure of a building, a white building that has seen age. Its weather-worn white alabaster stone is dimming, its cracks starting to show in its edifice. The building is St. Peregrine's Community Hospital. Once a financial institution that became something altogether, but throughout the years, only one influence has remained that has perverted its purpose. The bottom line. Within it, crowded people hustle through hallways, past the suffering of individuals whose arms outstretched carry bracelets of their personal information in a place that does not care who they are. It is a place of suffering. A car pulls up. Individuals get out, carrying a woman who has seen an assault. She is carried into the hospital, her wounds addressed. The paramedic who carried her, one Lillith Hanlon, has revealed her nature during her car trip, her ambulance ride to Herkermer, Milton. They sit now in the cafeteria on the 2nd floor. Empty. Silent except for the dull drone of a vacuum cleaner off in the corner. Their conversation had gravitated towards purpose and the nature of what they are. But now there is a silence between them, words lost as they wait. Lillith. How will you respond to the silence?
Herkermer, would you like me to grab you a coffee?
I don't necessarily think so. Pretenses and all.
I'm still gonna grab.
Well, if you're still grabbing one, grab me one.
All right. So I will get up.
Mm-hmm.
And no
Whatever's.
cream and sugar in mine. Just straight coffee.
Are you sure? This is
Yeah.
hospital coffee.
I've had worse.
Okay. So I will go and grab the rest of whatever left of the evening's coffee and start making mine, and then I'll pour his, making sure I don't put anything else in it, and bring it back. Hand you one.
Thank you. He reaches over. Herkermer reaches over and picks up a salt shaker and gives a couple little taps of salt into his coffee. Stirs it up.
I'm sure indigestion isn't going to be a problem.
I do it to, cut out some of the bitterness. Takes a sip.
Remind me, do either of you have the eat food merit?
No.
Okay.
No, just blush of health as being a thin blood.
Mm-hmm.
Just So how is it no one really told you what you are?
I don't know. I don't know what kind of game the guy that bit me was. I have no idea.
So what do you think you're gonna do? It's not like you can do what you've been doing for the last however long you've been doing it.
Well, I found you, so if you know others, then maybe I can tag along and learn?
I mean, if you like to, but I don't think you like where I'm living.
Why?
Oh, it's down on Water Street.
I don't think there's much that can scare me away or disgust me.
It's not a matter of scaring or way or disgusting. It's just I don't have a home, so
That's fine.
well, all right. If you're willing to deal with my living situation, as soon as Desmond gets here, because I gave him a call, and
Okay.
he's the one that kind of showed me the ropes, as it were. Fair warning, he's a bit out there.
How so?
Like before he became I think he was a little too much into some psychedelics, if you know what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Now I don't know for sure. Psychedelics was never really my thing. I used to drink beer, but that was about it.
I drink. Well, not anymore.
How long since you've seen the sun?
About 2 weeks.
I can't imagine. Can't see sunrises or sunsets.
It's a
You
little
don't get
weird.
that. Yeah, living in perpetual night would get kind of weird, I think.
Yeah, it's messing with my head.
I bet. Have you tried, I don't know, maybe some melatonin?
No, I can sleep fine. It just during my wake. I mean, aside from the obvious.
A woman approaches. Wrinkled scrubs, with the various blood and things that happen in her profession. Her hair is frizzy and worn, blonde woman. You recognized her from down in the ER. She was standing next to the woman you had spoken to before you come up to the cafeteria, Lillith. She comes walking up to you and she's, excuse me, ma'am?
Yes?
Your patient? You wanted to be notified when they were being moved?
Yes, yes.
I believe that they were moving her up to surgery as we speak. I think, well, it might take a little bit, but like they could use some help if you wouldn't mind.
Okay. I'll be right there.
Oh, sure. It might take a little bit of time, so I don't think they're expecting you immediately, but okay.
Are you sure?
What's that?
Just waiting for the woman to leave, if she does, or is she staying?
She turns around and walks off. She looks like she's going to grab like a quick bite to eat out of one of the vending machines over in the far corner. She can't hear you.
You sure you want to go back down there?
Yeah.
Hungry as you are?
Oh, good idea.
Just saying. Like
Maybe
when I get home, when I get back, I'm gonna have to raid my fridge.
Well, it's going to take a little bit of time. Is there anything fully available here?
You do
Rats?
know one one woman who works at the hospital. She works in the labs, specifically downstairs, where she helps process blood or some sort of testing. She does. She's involved with the blood donations.
Mm-hmm. I know. I have a person that I know. Perhaps give her.
I mean, there are. Well, do you trust her?
As much as I can trust anyone.
Do you think you could trust her enough with your secret to answer the question of why you're asking for what you're asking for?
No, I'm going to a prep surgery, so asking for blood isn't out of the ordinary.
True. Well, you're gonna have to deal with the repercussions of missing blood, or
I'll take it up because she lost a lot of blood, and they're going to pump her full of blood, and she might be losing a lot more blood as it goes, so it's not really lost.
or if you're interested, I can make a call and I go to a specific point and we get you as much as you need.
Maybe let's do that.
Rather than tie up your friends in paperwork.
It's worth noting that the hunger rules, which normally are taken at the beginning of the game, since we have started in the middle, in media res of the night, your hunger levels for you, Lillith, is only at a 2, and for Herkermer, you are also at a 2, since you were full and she took blood from you. So
Right. All right. Well, if you feel that that's the way the thing can go, let me do something. Pulls out his phone, dials Desmond again. Hey Desmond, this is Herc. Meet me back at my place rather than anywhere else. I'm be bringing the newbie with me. And I turn off the phone, or then I end that call, and then immediately dial another one. And I'm going to be accessing my lore sheet level 1 of the circulatory system and procuring animal blood.
Okay. Give me one moment to pull up the proper PDF of that, so we can get the roll down. And you're using your level 1, correct?
Level 1, correct. Once per story, you can request specific blood vessels from the circulatory system to convey certain abilities, or to provide a Ventru who finds their feeding preference neglected in their domain.
That's a lore sheet that's in the main book.
To 386.
Yeah. That's why I love you. Book flipping. Okay. Sure. Okay. So it will take a little bit to arrive, obviously. Like, you know, you have to call people and that sort of stuff. But when you do receive, or when you do get to your destination, a delivery, should be made a couple minutes later. That's confirmed when Desmond texts you. He's like, okay, full bloods, too much pump, but we'll bring it.
All right. Okay. Well, by the way, we've been talking this whole time, and I don't know your name.
Me?
Yeah, you.
Lillith Hanlon. I thought we already talked about. Could have sworn we talked.
I don't remember introducing ourselves.
Oh,
Lillith,
well,
it's a pleasure to meet you. My name's Herkermer. If you didn't...
Do Herkermer.
Okay. Well, then we must have. I just might have forgotten. It's been kind of a busy night.
It has. There's been a lot of activity.
All right. Well, if you want to come with me, I'll take you back to where I'm staying.
All right.
All right.
Let's go.
So, first of all, it takes a good, 20 or so minutes to walk back to my car.
So you go walking outside of the hospital, right?
Yeah.
So you're going down at this time of night. Pretty much the only entrance available is through the emergency room. Most of the other doors have been locked or closed because of either maintenance or security reasons. You notice that there's also a lot of construction that takes onto the place. It seems like this, even though it's an old building, they seem to be consistently renovating. Although the renovations quickly seem to, be deteriorating and that sort of stuff. Lack of maintenance and so forth. As you go walking out, we will turn over to Charlie and Hannibal. You pull up in what was the color of your car, Hannibal? Was it like a black vehicle?
Probably more like a dark gray.
Like a dark
Something
gray.
like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your dark gray sedan comes pulling up into the crowded parking lot of the hospital. You do manage to find a place. The rain is still very heavy on you as you park the car, and all you can hear is the cacophony of the moisture hitting the earth in the car. What do you two do?
How much do you think we'll need?
How much can you provide?
I can provide enough to sustain. Enough to survive off of? Take your fill? Probably not.
Whatever can be managed.
Then, I'll go see what I can do.
I'm going to come with you. I hope you understand that.
Sure. Charlie will kind of look around in his pockets for a spare badge, like a visitor badge.
Oh, well, I would assume that you always keep a badge in your wallet, at least, like an identification card that works, says the hospital, who you are, and because you are allowed access to pretty much every area that there is available anyway. So, yeah, you have one readily in the back pocket.
Okay. Then I will take Hannibal here to the front desk, and I will get a visitor badge for him.
Okay, so as you go walking in, again, the entrance, the only readable entrance. Normally you would go through like an employee entrance or something like that. Lately, of course, there's been a lot of renovations. There's always renovations in this place. It never seems like it can keep up with the age of the building or the fact that there's things break down so often. So they seem to be always constructing somewhere. This time the employee entrance is more or less blocked, and they've had most of the people come in through the normal entrances, which is at night. The emergency room. So as you come in through the emergency room, the nurse just looks at you. She knows who you are. She's seen you here quite often, frequently in the last couple of weeks, especially. Mr. Allsun?
I'll cite her name, whatever it is.
Yeah, you look at her badge real quick because you're just like, hi, Susan. That kind of thing.
And then I'll go and requisition a badge for Hannibal here.
Oh, she just reaches over into a a thing and takes out a little visitor. It says visitor on it, yellow, hands it to.
Yep. And then we'll make our way over to the labs.
Okay. So you go walking into the building because the low elevator access that you commonly take that is closest to your laboratory, which is downstairs, is more in the center of the building. As you go walking in through the emergency room, and as Lillith and Herkermer come walking around the corner, you hear a ruckus. You hear somebody crying out. Now, the moans and things like that are normally. This sounds like some fear. You're, oh my god! Right, as just down around the corner. You can't quite see what's going on, though. Towards the elevator bank.
Which doctors are on the case?
Well, it doesn't look like it's coming from a room. It's like a scuffle or some sort of like it's like it's a woman's like screaming in fear, like a shock, like oh my god, and you hear like what the hell, and then you hear like some people like tennis shoes skirting along the waxed floors. Basically trying to get out of the way of something. You can't quite tell because again, it's around the corner. From your angle also, Lillith, because Lillith and Herkermer, you're approaching it from around the opposite corner, right? So again, it's like kind of up near the elevator bank. You're Charlie and Hannibal are situated along a long hallway. And then there's like an elbow shape, and then Lillith and Herkermer, you're kind of coming around the other way. That makes sense.
So we're coming up to it. We don't have to double back to turn around, right?
If you wanted to turn around, yeah, you could just turn around down the hallway. You hear basically just a large amount of scuffling and things like that. You come around the corner and you see like a group of people down the distance, screaming. And at something that is in the elevator, presumably.
Okay, I'll go running over there.
Okay.
I'm hot on her heels.
Okay. What do Charlie and Hannibal decide to do?
I'll It's a medical emergency. I'm in a hospital. I'm running towards whatever it is to help.
Okay, Hannibal?
Hannibal stands there for a second, like his posture, like he wasn't even going to respond whatsoever.
Mhm.
And then when Charlie takes off, he like has this moment where he's like, and then he follows Charlie.
Okay. So you guys both converge at coincidentally the same moment, where you see basically a small crowd of people that are kind of shying away. Some people are running down the hallway past you, they're going the opposite direction, right? Screaming for help, to get help. You guys see in the hallway in front of the elevator, which is wide open, you smell the smell of sulfur. And you see a figure. You see a figure standing in the elevator door. Blood from the grisly scene behind him, telling a very vivid and simple picture about what has transpired as her corpse is slung and ripped open. He's got a brown coat, cracked gray skin that seems to be emanating some sort of mist or smoke. He is looking at one target as his arm is outstretched. Just within his reach is lying on a cart, gurney, a woman, fairly attractive, in a medical gown. Lillith and Herkermer will recognize her as Betty. And the man who had attempted to attack her earlier this evening. He's looking at them as you come pushing past the crowd. The crowd of people kind of formed a circle around you, as you simultaneously come in. Lillith and Herkermer off to his left, and Charlie and Hannibal kind of more or less off to the right, but in the front. You see him. Yeah. Ah! And he goes to jump on her. Yes. Lillith.
As I am running, I'm going to attempt to get between both of them.
Okay.
And my goal is to wheel Betty out of the way.
Okay. So we're entering a small but a combat. The way Vampire 5th Edition works is it does not use an initiative system. I will direct the flow of combat. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go with indicate to each one of you what you would like to do in response. When you target somebody, they will get a defense action. And then when they go, they will, of course, get an action against one of you or something else. So let's go ahead and start with, because Charlie was the first one to start, first one who more or less saw it. Let's give Charlie the first action, and you're kind of the closest to the woman. What do you decide to do, Charlie?
I want to see if I can confuse the assailant using Dominate, Cloud Memory.
Okay, so you want to make him like forget why he's here, essentially.
Temporarily, like even if it's just temporarily, just like, oh shit,
okay.
Why am I here?
Sure. Cloud Memories roll. I should probably keep this bookmarked. Cloud Memories roll. If you want to shoot it out, if you have it written down or dominate. Okay.
I do not.
All right. Go ahead and give me a charisma and dominate.
Okay.
This is Now, what you're going to do is you're going to take the number of dice equal to your charisma and dominate dots, and you're going to make a pool off of that. So, what is your charisma and dominate total?
5.
5. Okay, so that's going to be 5 dice that you're going to take. Then you're going to take your hunger level, which for tonight is going to be at 1, and you're going to substitute that many red die or different color die if you're not using the brand dice or whatever they are, for or within. So you're going to be rolling 4 black dice and 1 red dice to determine your roll.
I need my dice.
Oh, okay.
I will be right back with mine.
Oh
They're
my.
just around the corner.
Worst gamers ever. Like, shame on
I
you.
just want to point out that I have my dice right here.
Yeah.
And my dice.
Worst gamers
bar.
ever. It's all right.
Can I ask just for clarification
Sure.
as well, very quickly, what hunger is Hannibal at? Just so I can mark it down.
I would say 3 because you expended quite a bit in the combat earlier.
Okay, thank you.
It's okay. Little black box. Got him? Awesome. Cool. Okay, now what we're looking for if is 6 or greater, or if you're using the special dice, the brand dice, you're looking for an Ankh. If you roll a 1 or you roll a skull, that is obviously very bad. And if you roll a 10 or an Ankh with the little fangs on the red dice, it's worth noting because that can also complicate things. So,
Alrighty.
okay, all right, ready to go. Okay.
Okay.
Did you also explain the house rule, Doug?
Oh, we are also using a
that's very
house rule.
important.
Yes, a house rule. When you roll a 10, it will generate another success, which is not technically with the way the rules work, but because it's only when you get 2 10s that you generate the extra successes. So, but I'm using the old 10 generates another success.
So black dice, I got a 10, 7, 7, and 5.
Okay, so the 5 doesn't count. So the 10, 7, 7, that's 3 successes. What was the red die roll?
2.
2, so that doesn't count either. Okay. So you got 3 successes against his wits and resolve.
He rolled a 10, so that would be a crit, which means he should have
4 successes.
four successes,
You're
but
correct.
it's not a critical roll. That was the one thing that we missed real quick is the way that it works. In order to get a critical success,
You have to have
to
2
actually
10s.
roll 2 10s
Yes.
in this game.
Yeah.
So
All right. So I'm going to. He is quite hungry. Okay. Yeah, he fails ridiculously. In fact, he failed and he rolled a 1 on the hunger die, which means that he suffers from a bestial failure or bestial failure. I'm not quite
Bestial.
sure. Yeah, bestial. Yeah. I hear everybody say bestial. I don't know why. Like, it's weird. It's
I think
okay.
it's like the Camarilla versus Camarilla thing.
Yeah, it's words in this game. So okay, you go to say forget. You go forget, and you see him step back for a moment, and like this twisted, like, you know, conflux on his face like shows like anger and hatred boiling up. He turns on you and looks like he's now you're the target. He doesn't remember why he's here because he kind of looks around confused for a minute. He's like, huh? And he's like, "Ugh," and he goes in for a swing on you.
I'm good with it.
Could I use my action
Yes.
at this point
Yes,
and to basically keep him from attacking Charlie?
sure. You can roll a defense for you can roll a defense and substitution, or you can assist him. An assistance would give him extra dice.
Can I jump in the way during this time?
Oh yeah, are you still intending to jump in the way of put your body in between?
Yes, and I'm gonna say something when I do.
Okay. So let's resolve Hannibal first to see whether or not assistance in combat. I'm gonna go ahead and can't quickly locate it on my thing, so I'm just gonna go ahead and say, Charlie, go ahead and roll your dodge skill, your relevant defense skill, however you choosing. I'm assuming dodge. Oh, they don't have a dodge.
Well, I also have resilience.
Dodge in this game is dexterity plus
it's-
athletics.
Yeah. So if you want to use dexterity plus athletics to dodge out of the way, or if you want to try to like block him, use dexterity plus brawl. And then go ahead and add 2 dice to that.
I'm not seeing dodge on the list.
It's athletics. Dexterity plus athletics in this case.
Okay. And then add 2 dice to that, you said?
Mm-hmm. Assuming
Which of those are red?
Like, the number equal to your hunger. So
One of them is red.
So okay.
Okay. Red's a 2. Got a 3, 8, 7, and a 6.
Okay. So anything above a 6 or 6 or above counts as a success.
So 3 successes.
3 successes. 10s count as 2 successes.
I did not get a 10 this time.
Okay. And so how many total successes is that?
3.
3? Okay. So he does manage to strike you. 4. He gets 5 successes over your 3 successes. Plus 1 because he seems to hit you with some supernatural strength.
Okay. I'm gonna look up something. I do have resilience on my sheet, so I'll look that up while
Sure. I
continue with the scene.
Yeah. So he goes to hit you.
Adds 1 to your health pool.
Yeah, it adds for 1 per level. Well, it depends on which power you have, but the one I believe you have is the one that adds number to the health pool. So you go ahead and he goes and strikes you with a supernatural force, he seems to be inhuman, does not have any sort of coherent thought. He is not in the grips of frenzy, even though you at least the way it's been described to you. He just seems to be like enraged. And when he does so, he hits you. You take 2 damage, and he steps back, and for a brief moment, like he is sitting there gloating, like he's like he seems like he's like reveling in the violence that he just inflicted. At which point, Lillith, you wanted to get in front of Betty, and say something. What did you want to say?
I'm gonna get immediately in front of Betty and shove the stretcher out of the way, furthest away from him, and I'm gonna look at Herkermer and tell him to get her out of here.
Okay. So you go grab the stretcher and you go pushing it away.
Yeah.
Okay. Herkermer, what are you doing?
Is Betty still on the said stretcher, or?
Yes, she is.
Okay. I'm going to go over to the stretcher.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. And I'm going to push it about 10, 15 feet back.
Mm-hmm.
and then turn around and look ready to tackle old boy if he comes at her again.
Okay. He seems to be standing there, like temporarily transfixed with his own violent actions, looking around, but not really focused on you or Betty anymore. What? Yes, Lilith.
I am going to immediately go towards Charlie to assess him for his injuries.
Okay. So Charlie's standing right in front of. So you're gonna come right around, off to the side. So you can manage to sneak out by the corner.
Yeah, I'm elbowing people. I'm like pushing people out of the way.
Okay. So people at this point are like moving back, like because there's a fight, right? So yeah, you managed to move. You look. He seems to. How much damage out of your health pool did you take, Charlie? Mind you, it's superficial, so it's halved after the 2 points is actually half to 1. That's one thing I forgot. So you'd only taken 1 point of damage.
Okay, so I still have... I still have 8 boxes of health.
Okay. And are you going to heal that? You can do so at the cost of no action, reflexively, by just rousing.
Sure.
Okay, so go ahead and roll 1 hunger die for me. And if you get a 6 or better, you suffer no ill effect. But 1 through 5...
Got a 9.
Okay, so you got success. So you feel that you tempt that beast just a little bit in your stomach, gets a little stronger, and then you push it down as your wound starts to heal. Lilith, because you are examining him, you do see his the force that he struck him with was quite significant. He looked like he got hit with like a freight train, as it were, and just kept standing there.
Okay.
But you do see that the part of his chest that had been like sort of caved in, right? Like sort of like there's an imprint there that it's just kind of, and it's kind of popping back out. You see it's just kind of reforming underneath the shirt, of course.
I'm gonna open his shirt.
Does Charlie allow this to happen? And does anybody else interject in between this? Hannibal?
I'm dressed like a paramedic, by the way, still.
Mm-hmm.
So where is the assailant?
He's no more than 2 or 3 steps away from you, standing in the circle. At this point now, both you and Lilith are in front of her, and Lilith seems to be going towards you. Hannibal, are you doing anything?
Yeah, I was going to engage the attacker.
Okay. So you go to...
I just didn't want to talk over people. You know what I mean?
I get it.
Is the assailant still aggressing towards us?
He's aggressive. He doesn't seem to have a target as of yet. So Hannibal, what are you doing when you step forward?
I'm not stepping forward. I'm in a sense I'm stepping forward, but I am going to kick the back of his leg, like with a spinning kick to the back of his leg to basically like try to sweep his feet out from under him so he falls to the ground, giving everybody time to scramble in different directions, basically.
Sweep the leg, Hannibal.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right, go ahead and give me... I'd say that's pretty straightforward brawl.
Okay. Oh, and I would get my specialization, yes, gives me a +1 die.
Mm-hmm. 2 dice. I think it gives you 2 dice. Just 1 second.
Oh, do specializations give you 2 dice?
I think so. The old system, they used to only give you 1.
Yeah, I had presumed it was just 1.
I think they still only give you 1.
I've only rolled 1 so far, and so far I already have 6 successes. So.
Okay. Where's specialization? Oh.
I rolled the extra dice just in case it would. If it doesn't count, then then it's not 7 successes, it's only 6. So because it got an onk. So
Okay, I'll look it up in a minute. We'll just go ahead and go ahead and keep the extra dice in right now, because it's to your advantage.
Okay. So 7 successes then.
7 successes. Okay.
Yeah. Because I don't have 2 crits, I only have the 1 messy crit.
Mhm.
I don't believe it's a messy critical, right? I have to actually have a critical success in order to get a messy crit. Okay,
Yes,
so
you have to have at least two 10s.
Yeah.
Or the onk with little fangs, right? And one of those, at least one of those has to be, I believe it's at least one has to be. Okay, so you did 7 minus his 2. He still kind of seems to be very much enraged. That would be an overlap of 5. So cut in half.
Sure.
I need to get space over here. Like juggling around all these notebooks and things.
And it's in this game, it's round up for damage, right? So it'd be 5 cut in half is 3 instead of 2.
I believe so. We'll go with that until I say otherwise.
Okay, sure.
Okay.
Does my attack accomplish what I was trying to accomplish?
Yeah.
Because okay, cool.
He falls.
So,
He quickly falls. I mean, you roundhouse kick him. He falls down on the ground with pretty much a sudden thwap as the back of his head hits the marble or the hospital floor. He seems to be like just struggling around. At this point, he has kind of come out of his exhalation as he is being attacked, and kind of has regained his sort of sense of what is going on as you see him flip around bodily, right, with his eyes locked on to Betty's form, which is now about 10 steps away from him. And he gets up, or he tries to get up. Herkermer, what is your wish to do? You have an opportunity.
My wish to do is, as sneakily as possible, pull out my preparation of Far Reach.
Okay.
Which is it's like a little tincture.
Mm-hmm.
It comes in a glass vial with a cork that he uncorks, kind of pours out the contents, which just to make sure I get it right, is my blood. So actually I kind of break the vial in my hand as to mix my blood with choleric human blood, grated refrigerator magnet kind of mixed in there, so it has kind of the like a shine to it.
Okay.
And he kind of quickly glitters up his hands with bloody glitter, and as he does that, the blood just kind of flakes off his hands, leaving a little bit of the glitter from the magnet. And then he will reach his will out and try and hold down this person's form to the floor.
Okay.
Because I can hold up to 200 kilograms of weight with Far Reach.
Okay.
So I'm attempting to use that to just hold him on the floor. So I roll Resolve plus
Alchemy.
Thin Blood Alchemy. He rolls
Strength plus athletics.
Strength plus athletics, yeah.
Yep. Okay.
Okay.
Man, I'm just rolling bad. I'm just rolling bad tonight.
Well, I got 2 10s, one of them being from the red die.
Okay.
So I got 4 successes, is that a critical? Is that a messy critical?
That is a critical. It's the first potentially messy critical, so I'm going to look it up just to make sure I get it right.
Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah. If ever one of your 10s is the 10 on the red die, which is the fangs with the thing, that's a messy crit. Yeah.
Oh, well then it's not a 10. Excuse me. So I got 2 successes total. My bad. New dice.
It says it's part of the critical win. Yes. So.
Yeah, it would look like the Ankh with the fangs on the side of it.
Yeah.
The red
Yeah, I
dice.
saw that. Yeah.
So you're saying
Yeah.
you did not, in fact, get a critical?
I did not get criticals. I
Okay.
did not roll a 10. So I got 2 total successes.
Sure. Okay. So you reach out, Hannibal, because you are pretty close. You have a good angle. You do see this happen. Most of the people are freaking out and kind of running at this point.
Okay.
Trying to get away as fast as possible. And nurses and things like that are taking patients away. But you do have an angle now because the crowd kind of parts, and you see this. If Herkermer wants to describe what he looks like.
One point of order.
Sure.
It's 100 kilograms, not 200 kilograms. Does he weigh over 220 pounds?
No, you're
No.
thinking. I think. Yeah.
But it seems like you go to try to push him, and it doesn't seem to be too effective as his form kind of like shrugs it off as he continues to try to rise to his feet.
Okay. Well, Herkermer stands about 5'9", got kind of loose, shaggy brown hair that goes a little bit over his ears.
Mm-hmm.
Brown eyes, just kind of your standard looking guy.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too special about him. He looks like a homeless person who actually, got a hold of a little bit of money and was able to buy himself some at least decent clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing too extravagant, and he is wearing a brown leather vest. It looks like a jacket that's had the sleeves removed, that has a patch on the left breast side. And I can see that it's not working on him.
Mm-hmm.
So just kind of, and I have to do a rouse check for that power.
Yes, you
too.
do.
Which I go up a hunger.
Yes, you do.
I rolled a 4.
Yes, that's certainly going up a hunger. So you don't even though you still feel hunger the same way other kindred do. It's not like quite as necessary. Like the beast still claws at you, of course, but not quite the same way.
Right.
You feel hungry. You feel a little angry, like hangry going on as you try to reach out. Hannibal, you see there's blood on his hand that has like this sort of weird glitter mixture in it. It definitely looks very strange. With all the chaos, nobody else really seems to notice, obviously, because you have a madman like getting up off his feet. That being said, Charlie, it's been a minute. Lillith was going to reach out to you. 1, do you let her? And 2, what are you doing?
I don't know if I necessarily have enough time to react to it, because it seemed like she was just like, nope, I got to take care of patients.
Sure.
Just going straight into the work mode. But as soon as I notice and I have time to react, I will say, I'm not hurt.
Okay. So,
or at least try to convince her, like, because that's going to be the awkward moment, right?
Yeah.
Where I'm just like, my chest is uncaving in.
Yeah. By the time you rip open his shirt, right, to go to look at the wound, and there's nothing there. There's certainly like blood matter, not actual blood stains, but there's like blood matter and that sort of thing of where the wound might have been. The shirt looks like it's taken kind of a beating as it's been stretched in that one specific spot, but you don't seem to see any sort of wound. Charlie, what are you continuing to do? Or are you waiting for Lilith's reaction?
We need to restrain that guy.
Will he have bruising on him?
No.
Okay. Oh, okay. I will, as soon as he says that, I'll look at his chest and just kind of look at him incredulously and turn on my heel and try to restrain the combative patient.
Okay. So you go to try to restrain him.
Yes.
What are you using? How are you doing that?
I am just using my physical weight as a paramedic. Just any paramedic training that I would have learned to restrain a patient.
Okay, go ahead and give me a strength plus brawl.
Do I need a red die? Sorry. Do I need a red die?
Yeah, you are at 2 red dice, so take 2 dice out of your substitute 2 dice in your pool with red dice. Yes.
Oh, real quick though, can I ask though?
Sure.
Did you say that he doesn't look like he's in frenzy, or did I misunderstand that?
He does not look like he's in frenzy.
So this is like he's consciously trying to attack this woman specifically.
Yes, he was for a minute there, maybe, but he looked more angry than anything else. Right, like your rage had just clouded his senses. But not a frenzied rage. You don't see the telltale fangs or anything. But now he definitely looks very intent. If anything, he may look extremely hungry. But other than that, you really can't tell without any like supernatural or time to observe or that sort of stuff. So okay,
So I got what are the onks? Just the plain onk?
Onks are successes.
Okay, so I've got 3 of those.
Okay.
An onk on the red one.
Mm-hmm.
A blank on the red one.
Okay.
And a blank black.
Okay, so you had 3 normal successes, and then 1 on the onk, which just makes it 4 successes. Okay.
So 4 6.
Yeah. You go to grab him. He had was trying to get up. Oh, I gotta reroll. Actually, I forgot the penalty. 1 second. Storyteller needs to keep track of his penalties. Oh, okay. So yeah, you go to grab him, and when you go to grab him, you feel his body stiffen, and you see a this time the beast come out. You've never seen this because you haven't had the ability, but you see he's down on his fours because he was kind of rising up from the floor with on all fours, and you see his skin sort of like tighten even further, which kind of gives it this like wrinkled texture you might see out of a paper bag or something like that. And you see fangs protrude, red cover over his eyes. As you're holding him, you're definitely constraining him, but you're not fighting whatever he is. You're fighting his beast. As he goes to try to bite you. Okay. You notice that while he's trying to, he's definitely struggling, and he kind of heaves, right? But as he does so, you hear like the skin kind of contort, and it's almost like a fire almost. It doesn't smell like fire or sense like fire, but it's like hearing the sound of a clothing or material kind of catching fire. He does seem to get visibly warmer as he bites you. So that's 5 successes against your defense roll, which is either your dexterity athletics or in this case it would probably be dexterity or strength brawl or dex brawl, in either case.
Okay, so I did get a messy success. I got the fangs on my red hunger die.
Mm-hmm.
I got a success on the red hunger die. I got a onk with the 2 stars on 1 die.
Okay, how many total?
2, 3, 4, 4, and then the onk with the fangs.
Okay, so that's 6. Okay, so you hold on to him, and you feel that anger that's always with you, that accompanies the dire hunger that precedes you in the night, kind of rise up, just briefly flash, and you're like, yeah, and you kind of swing him over, and you hear his head clack against the wall. You see her for a brief moment, Hannibal, because you're the closest to her, and Charlie, you also see this because you were right in front of her as well. Briefly flash with this sort of grin. You see just barely the fangs in her kind of peek out a little bit as she loses some of the blush that she had. It goes a little bit paler, but then it returns, obviously. So she goes, and you hear his head snap as he takes more damage.
How tall is this guy?
He's a little taller than you. He's probably like 5'8". You were like 5'4" or something like that, right?
5'3". Yeah. So there's this 5'3" person about my size on this 5'8" enraged person.
Yeah, he seems to be pretty worse for wear as his head kind of hit the thing, like not like hard, but just at the right angle where it's like, and you hear kind of his skull kind of creep in and crack a little bit. He's still fighting you, however. At which point we're gonna go see where we went. Hannibal.
I am continuing to deal with the assailant. So if she has him grappled, I'm coming in like about to engage and just going like punching him repeatedly. Okay. Whether it's like in the face or basically whatever's exposed. I'm just trying to do as much damage to him as possible, knowing that this is my best way to get him into torpor.
Okay. And just raw force. There's no finesse to it. You can use strength in this case.
I would be going more for finesse because I'm more of a finesse fighter.
Sure.
So I'd be trying to choose locations that I know are weaker, that sort of thing.
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead. Give me dexterity and brawl.
And we're doing 2 dice for the specialty right now, just to double check.
Yes.
Okay. Just double check. I am going to spend a willpower, if that's okay.
You may take by spending willpower, you make a little strike on your willpower health bar, and you may reroll up to 3 of your normal dice. Anything other than you can't reroll your hunger dice. So
yes, I know. Yeah. Okay. 5 successes.
Okay. Greatly. He's going to. Okay. Ooh, okay. He fails. Like horrible. You do 3 damage in addition to whatever. You don't have like potence or anything, so.
I don't have any level of potence that gives me bonus damage or anything.
Sure. Okay, so you do come in and do 3 damage, and you thwap him. You notice while he's struggling, he's trying to heave again and trying to bust out of the grip and defend himself. You notice now the warmth gets more intense as he does so, which causes basically like parts of a lot of his interior clothing inside of his jacket is like ripped and torn. It looks like he got in some sort of accident or something like that. And you notice like there's like faint wisps of ash starting to come out. No fire, nothing to trigger your beast per se, Hannibal. Lillith, your beast is not liking this. It's like it's getting now. He's hot. He's warm to the touch. You know. But before you could really release him or anything like that, you notice that his body stiffens, and this wave of ash comes out of his mouth, and he clumps down to the ground, and he seems to be shriveling. Which Hannibal, you have seen kindred fall into states of decomposition rather quickly, but you've never seen something like this. It looks to be kind of like this, like sort of like he's there's something burning on the inside of him. and he's his mouth and.
So, the fact that he's now just dying, even though his head hasn't been chopped off or any of the normal things that I am aware of would actually do the final death to him, this is strange. This isn't like we accidentally killed this guy or something.
No.
Okay. Holy shit. I'll look shocked when it happens then. Like, after I'm punching him and whatnot, and Lillith is holding him, then for that second when that thing happens, I'm just sitting there like, what the fuck?
Lilith is gonna stumble back on her feet and just kind of fall to her butt and staring incredulously.
Okay, so we're out of combat now. So you guys can you notice that the crowd had basically moved away. You notice that there were some security guards running down the hall, that sort of thing. They're not there yet, so you do have a couple moments to yourself, as the immediate vicinity is empty, more or less. There's a couple people crowded around underneath behind a counter top, but that just is in the way, but nothing around.
I'm gonna try to snap out of it and grab Betty's blanket and put it over the guy that's disintegrating right now.
Okay, she's very heavily sedated, by the way. Like, so she doesn't really seem to be noticing anything.
So I cover up is he still disintegrating, or what's going on with him?
When you look and peek under the blanket, he seems to be calming down now. There's no more ash or anything like that coming out. He just seems to be like a heavily damaged corpse. He's definitely dead to your eyes. But he's not moving at all. He doesn't seem to be decomposing any further or anything like that.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just put a blanket over him.
Okay.
And I'll wait for the security guards to get there. I guess I'll try to find another blanket somewhere so I can put it in front of this elevator door.
Herkermer, are you doing anything while she's doing this?
Fervently cleaning blood off of my hands.
Awesome. Okay. That's not a problem.
Yeah. And if I can, I'm going to peek under the blanket and kind of look through this dude's coat, through his pockets. Really quick, see what he's got on him.
Okay, so you're going to run over there and try to look through. Okay, so you pull out, there's a wallet.
Okay.
That you managed to pick out of his back pocket. He's wearing just jeans and that sort of things. Charlie, you see him, of course, kneel down and pull out the wallet and things. Are you going to respond or do anything?
I will run to one of the emergency phones and call for Gurney.
Okay. It's worth noting that there are several gurneys now that are empty too, that are lying now because people had like grabbed their patients that were able to walk and ran out with them. So
morgue staff then.
Okay, so you're calling the morgue? Okay.
Yeah.
Hannibal.
Is the corpse an obvious breach of the Masquerade?
Yep.
Or does it just look like a dead body?
It looks like a dead body.
Okay.
At this point,
so
maybe it was
when
set on
everybody's doing
fire.
Stuff like this. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
That maybe was set on fire somehow.
Okay.
So it's certainly very strange death in the conditions, but because there's no apparent cause. But yeah, he just looks like a normal corpse now.
Okay. I am going to make, has everybody backed away other than us at this point? No one's paying attention?
No.
I'm going to look at Charlie and I'm going to say, I'm your personal security. This man attacked me, or attacked you with a blade. I got in the way and then I shot him to death. And then I'm going to pull out my gun and shoot the body several times. Just blah, 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 blah.
Okay.
Are you saying that loud enough for Lillith?
Yes, I'm saying it loud enough for, because at this point I've seen, from what Doug described to me, I've seen each one of you do something supernatural.
Yeah.
So I presume that you were at least ghouls or something, right? You're at least in the know. And the fact that you're not freaking out about what just happened other than some of the weirdness makes me at least presume you're somewhat in the know, right? And if not, we'll suss that out here in a bit. But yeah.
Right. Herkermer comes up to Lillith and be like, "Okay, Lilith, now's a good time to go." And then looks to the other two people. It's like, can I get some contact information from you? Because I gotta go.
I'm being expected up in surgery with Betty.
How long are you gonna be up there?
Probably not too long. They're not going to keep me in there for surgery.
Who's this woman? I say, interrupting them.
His sister, and I point to Herkermer.
Who is this woman to him? I say, pointing to the corpse.
Oh, I don't know. I think he was really just hungry and had one thing on his mind.
I don't know. I think he has a personal vendetta against her because... Do I recognize him, Doug?
Yeah, he's the same individual who was in the car accident.
There was a car accident and she was brought in originally injured by him. I tried to revive him, and I heard he bit her, and I think he bit one of my colleagues.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the same gentleman that was in the accident that originally attacked her, and now he's coming back after her.
I'm going to ask you both a question. Are you kindred?
I'll look over at Herkermer.
Technically you are. Technically I'm not. And I hold up my left hand, and you see there is it's a circle with like a half moon brand on his left hand. If that matters to you.
Does Charlie recognize that brand?
Yes, Charlie does. Although it's kind of incredible because you had always assumed it was kind of more or less a rumor, or you've been told. But is the mark of the Dustborn, the thinnest of the blood. Those who are rumored to be able to walk in the day. Yes, Hannibal.
Do I recognize the brand, or is this something that's more regionally done?
You wouldn't.
Okay, that's fair. I'm not sure what that means. Are you someone's property?
I lean over to Hannibal. Thin blood.
You do know what a thin blood is. You just don't recognize the symbol, obviously.
Yeah. I've never met one of you in person.
Well, I've never met you in person until just now, so we're on equal footing.
Are you vassals of the Red Queen?
Who's the Red Queen?
And no, I am no one's vassal.
You live, or at least you are, in her territory.
Who the fuck is the Red Queen?
We can have this discussion another time.
And another place.
With that, you notice that by now the security has arrived. You see also like two police officers with their guns drawn. They come up.
Before they arrive, I'm going to reach over and try to find like a scalpel or something like that.
Sure.
And then I'm going to cut myself on the face and cut myself on the hand, and then look over to Lillith, who looks like she's medically trained.
Before he does that, I'm going to stop him and I'm going to point to the cameras.
Oh, is there a camera?
There's
inside the room.
There are security cameras inside the room, and in certain places. The where you were at wasn't it wasn't necessarily covered as well, because it was a hallway, outside where the elevator bank was. But you also know that you have a certain type of luck with cameras sometimes that can play into your convenience.
I'll still do that then.
Mhm.
Okay.
But yeah,
You still point that out to me. You're like, stop cameras, and he just keeps doing it as though it like doesn't even faze him or something.
Okay.
Okay.
And
I don't know how long you've been around here, Doctor. I'm assuming you're a doctor.
Are you pointing at me?
Yes,
I'm a paramedic.
paramedic. But the majority of the board are like us.
Oh.
so you come in, or the security arrives. They start like, oh, what's going on? One of the people looks at actually first Lillith, because she's wearing scrubs and still in her paramedic outfit. What's going on?
The patient was combative. Apparently slaughtered somebody in the elevator and then came out and attacked this gentleman here. And I'll start tending to Hannibal's wounds.
Okay, right as you say, like, say that there's a punctuation, like, oh my god, and you see the elevator door open and a grisly scene of the woman who had her entire throat visibly ripped out, as though the person was trying to get at what was underneath, and to no avail. She's obviously very dead. So Hannibal, like, the security guards and the officers start, basically start cleaning up the scene, and they separate you people from, and they take you away to try to, or they take you and move you a little away from where the scene is, to try to get your statements, obviously.
did we push Betty far enough out of the way so she's not involved in all this?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so she's like off somewhere else. Okay.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and just, like, without cutting through the thing. So your story basically is that the P attacked you. You're the personal bodyguard Hannibal, and you shot him.
Mhm.
And during that scuffle, you were wounded and got cut by him.
Yeah.
Okay.
The idea was that he grabbed a knife, and that's how he was doing all of these killings. He like went crazy and started killing people, right?
Okay.
And then I'm Mr. Allsun's personal security. He went to attack Mr. Allsun. I got in the way and then shot him.
Okay. Who wants? Let's go ahead and have one person do the role, because I would assume in this situation you guys would all have stories that would try to be lining up. Does anybody want to tell a story that doesn't line up with that? Like a different story. Okay. So let's have one person make a role. Who would basically take the large in explaining the
I can do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I presume Charlie, because he works here. Like, I mean, I know Lillith works here too, but I mean, like, Charlie has like a place of authority. So
Like I'll kind of like look
Yeah.
over at Lilith and see that she's taking care of him, and
Mhm.
just kind of walk on over and say, like, give her the space to do her job, and then give them the report.
Okay. Now, in which manner are you just trying to persuade them? Are you trying to use your authority, your clout? I know what's going on here. This is what happened.
Well, I mean, they can see my badge; it's on me, so
Yeah.
I work here.
Are you?
For one.
Mm-hmm.
I also have, butt tons of charisma, lots of etiquette.
Well, it'd be certainly charisma. Let's go ahead and use your politics.
Politics.
Yeah. Because you have a lot of clout and authority within the place. You'd be like, this is what's happening. You could talk to this person. You get all, the blah, blah, blah.
Of course, you picked the skill I don't have any dots in.
You serious? I thought you had politics stuff.
No, I said etiquette.
Oh, okay. Well, do you have persuasion?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead and get persuasion. And because of the work that went into the cover story, we'll go ahead and count that as an assistance. So let's add 2 dice to that too.
Okay. And one of those is a not so awesome die. double lot. 9, 6, 3, 5, 7. And the hunger die is a 5.
Okay, so 9, 6. And you had a 7 in there, and then 2 10s?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's critical success. So that takes that 2 10s and turns it into 4 10s, right? And then 3 extra successes on top of that. So that's a total of 7, which you managed to like. You're just like, yeah, here's what it is, blah blah blah, and you like you could talk to this, and send the bodies over there, blah blah blah. You managed to like weave a tale, and at the same time, just kind of like, subtly implying that you know what you're talking about because you work here. Yeah, it's like, and that this person better not. You don't want to get trapped up by their paperwork issues.
Mm-hmm.
And the police, write it down. The entire process takes quite a while, about 45 minutes, which you guys are all standing there. And once the police are done with you, obviously they know where Charlie works, and since Charlie was the person who was explaining these things, they don't really see the reason to take you down to the police office. And really, they kind of don't really want to be bothered with it. They have the body of the woman in the elevator being wheeled off. They're trying to clean. The other individual, the attacker, is being likewise put in a body. You notice that the person, because the morgue is there, the morgue doctor, he's like, I thought this guy was already coming in. Man, drugs these days. He's like, what hit him? Oh my god. Smell. Wheels him off. So you guys are left standing there in a now busy hallway that's a crime scene. You're still able to get to the elevators if you want, Charlie. But what are you doing once you're done with the police?
Well, I believe you have a surgery to prep for, and I have some things in my department to take care of. I'll look over at Herkermer and Lillith and hand them cards.
Okay.
This is how to get a hold of you, I assume?
At the moment, yes.
Well, if you're ever looking for me, just head on down to Water Street. You'll find me.
Okay.
Pockets the card.
By the way, it's just a professional email address. That is it. There's no phone number on there.
Well, by the way, my name's Herkermer Milton. Pleasure to meet you. Who might you all be?
I'm Charlie Allsun.
Charlie.
I'm Lillith Hanlon. And you guys notice that her name badge is definitely not Lillith Hanlon.
Are you young?
Well, I've been running this lab for a short time.
I think
Hannibal's
you're
kind
missing
of
the
speaking
point.
away. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Charlie will kind of look at them both, and he'll kind of tell them, I think you're missing the point. He's asking, how long have you been like this?
Not a whole lot of time. A few months.
So the thing I was going to say was Hannibal's looking around to make sure nobody's nearby while we're talking. Are we completely by ourselves?
The wing has been mostly evacuated, even though, with the exception of the crime scene.
Okay. Okay. So we're not going to be overheard talking about vampire stuff.
Yeah, you are off and considering a distance, and then anytime somebody would cross, you obviously, I'm assuming that you would pipe up and wait
Sure.
until they pass. So
Okay, cool. Okay, so after Charlie says that, then Hannibal sort of looks around, making sure. Yes, Charlie is right.
I've been like this for, what, 6 weeks now?
I see. This Water Street you talk about, is that in the east part of town or the west part of town? West of the river or east of the river?
it is
I'm
in the
not-
it is in the east.
That's on the east side.
And you, Lillith, you said your name was? You live
Yeah.
here on the east side?
Do I?
Yes, you do. You live in
Yes, I
Old Town.
I don't want to speak for anyone who actually lives here because I'm very new to town. But being new is very dangerous if you don't understand where you live and who controls this place.
Ain't been more dangerous than any other time for me. Aside from the time when I got roped up and had a thing on my hand. But aside from that, my life has been interesting. A little bit of adjustment period.
Well, I can't speak for you, Herkermer, you said your name was?
That's right.
Don't know anything about Thin Bloods.
Well, that makes about 1.5 of us.
But I can say in the case of the Lillith, as long as you're not also Thin Blood, are you?
I don't know.
You don't do the daylight, so no.
Okay, then no, I'm not.
Have you ever been told a name?
Of what? Oh, what I am or something?
Yes.
No. I don't think he expected me to survive this long.
Well, it would be much harder to survive if things like this keep happening and then they discover you.
Yeah?
As I said, I can't speak for the Thin Blood. But if you're going to continue living here, I would highly suggest that you introduce yourself
To who?
to the kindred that owns this land.
How do I find them?
I have been told where to find them.
Will you tell me where to find them?
Yes, but I fear that if you go by yourself, you will die.
So maybe I won't go by myself. Like, will you guys go with me?
I think that's exactly what our friend is insinuating here. Is
Oh,
that
okay.
you should come with us.
I want you to understand, though. I'm doing this for selfish reasons.
Like what?
If I bring you and Charlie into the Red Queen, and I say that I found you on the street, or I imply that Charlie found you, he will be viewed as responsible and more trusted. I can't say that I know what will happen to you, though.
And what if they kill me?
That would be your sire's fault. If they
Then
find
maybe
you by yourself, they will most likely surely kill you as a poacher.
Maybe I'll take my chances. I don't do really well with authority. And if this Red Queen wants me, she can come and get me.
Well, it won't be the Red Queen who comes and collects.
No,
Well,
it'll be a bunch of people. It'll be a bunch of people in ski masks.
Honestly, is it not better to just say hello to your neighbors than to risk losing your life?
Doesn't seem like you're saying hello to your neighbors so much as you're subjugating yourself to a queen. I mean, they call themselves a queen, and you're going there making offers, hoping that if I meet them, they won't kill me. So if I don't meet them, I won't die.
No, you will die. That's what I'm saying. If you
How do
don't
you know
introduce
this?
yourself, because when they find you, they will kill you. Because amongst our society, if you do not introduce yourself, you are presumed to be a poacher.
Is
You-
this a society like the government or whatever? You have your own little government and stuff, and you have your stations and things, and like a mafia organization or something?
It's a set of checks and balances to ensure that we remain hidden from more lies.
Yeah, I heard about that. How long do I have to think this over?
When
I'm
were
not-
we heading to the Red Queen?
It's the same night, Doug.
It is.
I would think in
I did write it down. I promise.
so,
Conversations. A moment. I hope I wrote it down. Been so busy. I believe he said.
he never said a date. He just said she has parties.
That's correct. Yeah, you would go there. Yeah, he never said a date. He says you go 6th and Madison.
So we could technically go tonight if we wanted to.
You could. It is getting a little long in the night. So you would, before venturing out, you would probably have. You might get caught out in the sun, if you.
Oh, I see.
If you, meander for too long. I mean, you got still about another 2 hours.
Okay, so
So-
definitely not long enough. I didn't know what time it was in the evening, so I
Yeah.
wasn't sure.
About 2 hours, you're going to start risking it.
The point that I'm trying to make to you is that us bringing you with us helps Charlie. But I also want to make that point known to you is that if you go out of your way to introduce yourself, you will be trusted more. But if they find you, they'll give you no chance.
I guess. I'll go.
And you find yourselves standing in the hospital, which is now, the cleaning is taking some process. So it looks like the wing, or at least this section of the wing, is going to be closed off as a rerouting. You notice that Betty has been grabbed by other residents, like a resident and a nurse, and is being wheeled into an elevator and being taken upstairs just on the other side of the hallway as somebody realized where she should be and is presumably taking her to surgery. So with that, Hannibal?
Just a quick clarification.
Sure.
During the recap, you had said that the frenzied vampire
Mhm.
fell into torpor. I guess in the combat scene, I got confused. I
Okay.
thought had he not reached final death, and is he actually just in torpor? And is that something we would recognize, or at least I would recognize?
Okay. So when he fell down, he started to go through a decomposition, and that stopped after a minute. He could be. You don't know exactly whether or not he's in final death, right, or in torpor.
Oh, okay.
It's just-
So it's unclear.
Yeah, he's just a corpse on the ground. And sometimes kindred don't decompose fully, right? When they depends on their age, obviously. But
Sure.
like I said, his death didn't seem to be any sort of a final end that you had ever seen, although it did look very final.
Okay.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you.
It's still a mystery. That's the none of it.
Okay.
Right.
Perfect. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
So, hope you don't mind me asking, but I was wondering if I could tag along with you when you go meet this queen.
Well, that was the idea.
All right. Maybe this queen can answer me why I got this thing on my hand.
Maybe.
I wasn't told much about it. I was just said some things were said that I deserved it.
You said that you deserved it.
Yeah. Yeah, I got wrapped up by a bunch of guys, and they took me to a place where they had a brand cooking, and they took it to me. They wanted to make it in a place where I couldn't hide it.
Did they say who they serve?
Out of character. Doug, we didn't cover that
They
very
did.
much.
They did say that they served the tower. That the tower
Okay.
was imposing that. So you do know it was something called
Okay.
tower.
Yeah, it was something. Someone called the tower. Something about the tower.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Those are the kindred that live on the west side of the river.
Oh.
There's
Yeah,
a
well, they
difference.
came over here and got me.
Interesting.
Interesting. Okay.
Herkermer will notice that as he's talking, Hannibal is kind of looking at him with this like curiousness, almost like he's trying to hide it, but it's obviously curiousness in the way that he's looking at Herkermer, almost like you're a strange animal or something he's never seen before.
Right. Well, don't look too surprised. I don't bite much.
You notice at this point, one of the security guards comes up to Allsun, and he's like, "Hey, I hear you're the only big shot, currently here. The director of ER is on his way, but you didn't say it. Did this guy like mess with the cameras or something like that? Something's going on with the camera system."
There was a fire.
Oh. Okay. Sure. Yeah, it's weird stuff. This building, and sometimes the wiring is really sensitive. Okay. Turns around and leaves.
Well, when are you supposed to be meeting this person?
Wasn't it this evening?
It's too late in the night. We wouldn't have enough time. I doubt that she would even see us.
Well,
Well, do y'all need a place to stay, or y'all got yourselves a coop somewhere?
I have a place.
I have a place too.
Well, that's good. Must be nice.
So with that, are you adjourning for the evening, or?
I think so. I'll go to my surgery prep.
Mm-hmm.
Before they all leave,
Mhm.
I'm going to ask them for the cards that Charlie had given them.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm going to grab a pen or pencil, and I'm going to write down the burner phone number
Okay.
that I'd given Charlie,
Okay.
and then hand the card back to them.
All right. Thank you,
Okay.
I'm Hannibal, by the way.
Hannibal. Pleasure to meet you.
Yes.
So, Lillith, you said you were going to the up to the surgery. Now, when the nurse had told you, she was asking if you would come help take Betty up to the surgery.
Oh, okay.
So you don't. Obviously, that had already happened. So, are you then doing something different?
No, I will be going home, and well, I'm supposed to meet up with Herkermer's contact, I believe,
Okay.
and then my character was going to go home and probably invite over these characters if they want to come over and chat. If not, then it's sleepy time.
Okay. So you're inviting them back to your haven before you leave. Okay. So let's go ahead and leave it like right there where you're, maybe you take a couple steps away or something and turn back and.
Yep.
Well, that's where we're leaving. So like you take a couple steps away, you turn back, and do you say anything as they do?
Oh, yes. If you want to adjourn at my house, we can do that.
Oh, hell yeah.
Okay. Well, my offer still stands, Herkermer. If you'd like to sleep in the basement in my house, you are more than welcome to.
Oh, I'll probably just take off by the time you go to bed.
Okay.
All right. I will go pick that up for you, and I will bring it by. Will that work for you, Lilith?
For me, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah.
What do Charlie and Hannibal do?
I'm going to look over at Hannibal and kind of inquisitive. He seems to have an idea of what he wants to do at this point. And given that he is, at the moment, my bodyguard in a sense, I'm going to just kind of defer to whatever plan he sets in motion.
When they have left,
Mm-hmm.
I'll have spoken to Charlie.
Okay.
And with everything that's happened here, is it still possible for you to get me something to eat? I'm still very hungry.
Come with me. And I'll lead him down to the area where I keep the coolers.
Okay, so you two go walking. You go onto the elevator. You go down 2 floors. It's in the second sub-basement. The elevator opens into a very stark and austere sort of hallway. You see basically just narrow halls that branch off to the left, right, and in front of you, with kind of hanging, like half hanging, not hung right, signs that look like they were kind of hastily put up. Off to the left, you see construction, big tarps and things like that going down the hallway. Where you see a sign that says morgue. And in front of you, down the hallway to your labs, you lead him. Presumably, you're just going directly there. You're not stopping anywhere else.
I'm going to have peeked if there's a window into the morgue. Just peeked as we walked by.
Okay.
Just to see if I can visually locate where they've taken the body of the
You see
assailant.
You see a secured door that looks like has a keycard access with 2 windows that look into the front office, where presumably they let people in and out. Morgues, for a variety of reasons, might only have special access individuals. But you do see one of the doors inside the office is open, and the body, presumably it's in the same body bag, so you can't really tell what's inside of it, of the individual who you assailed is just sitting there like they had put it in the center. It doesn't seem to be moving or anything like that. The person's opening a cooler, and it looked like they're about ready just to put the body in a freezer or something.
Okay.
So you guys continue down the hallway. The Charlie's laboratories sit in the back of from where back of the building from where you guys are standing. You walk up to just basically a plain door with a window. I would presume that Charlie's laboratories would have some sort of a special access of, only in certain individuals. Would that be the sort of thing that you would have, or would you just have like a...
Yeah.
Okay. So key card, just RFID, swipe it open, tink, and you hear the door open. Inside you see off the office, same sort of setup with the morgue, where you have an office where processing and things like that, where people can drop things off and pick things up. But past that door, you see a very low hung ceiling, because there's lots of equipment hung to the ceiling. And you see a kind of a large room, a large laboratory, that looks to be split in the middle by like some sort of plexiglass sort of window that stretches from floor to ceiling all the way across. You see a lot of laboratory equipment. The lights are turned off because presumably most of the equipment, the uses for what the equipment is used for, is not used as much at night. And the back, beyond the window in the second half of the room, you see a not a large cooler, but like a like kind of like one of those big walk-in freezers sort of setups, where you have in front of it another variety of beakers and sort of chemistry set looking stuff, centrifuges, that sort of thing, all kinds of equipment, and in the far left-hand corner there's a curtained meeting room of some sort, where there looks to be more like office-y type stuff. So Charlie, you lead him through the lab back into the area of the blood bank, because the lab is separated. On one side there's all the laboratory equipment for the testing, on the other side is where you currently are doing your R&D research into blood storage and separation and that sort of stuff, like for blood screenings and blood donation drives, so like proving those sort of techniques. You is there anything you say or do while you are walking to the freezer, presumably?
I'll turn and stop Hannibal for a second. Stay here. I'll be right back.
Sure.
Basically keeping him out of line of sight of the cameras, basically.
Sure.
And then I will go over, sign a piece of paper, like a sign-in sheet, kind of make up some technical jargon of a sample that I'm looking at, and then I'll go over to the cooler, and I will take out one of the spare bags that's already been diluted down, or not diluted. Not the diluted bags, but the whole bag.
Mm-hmm. Okay, you notice when you go up to sign a thing, you sign a manifest because you keep very studious track of everything, so it can get entered into a database what happened to it, and be culpable for the research that you're doing. You notice in the door is actually open. It has like the security thing to keep it from shutting on people when they go in, like a little it's just a pin, more or less, but it is inside, so indicating that somebody's inside. Do you open the door?
Apparently it's already open.
Yeah. So you open the door, and inside you see a woman about 5'9", black hair that's kind of frizzy, pulled up into a bun, glasses, with a lab coat, and she seems to be arranging things.
Do I know her?
Oh yeah, absolutely. She's one of the lab assistants that works here, Mrs. Emily Bowman. You think? She started just recently. She was transferred from upstairs and is kind of one of the staff that the hospital lends you for your research. So she's just
Is
kind
she
of
a doctor or technician?
She, as far as you know, she's just a technician, like a lab technician. She does have some sort of medical degree, but nothing. Yeah, she's
No
not,
titles.
Yeah. So yeah, she's just sitting there moving, containers around, and she's, you kind of stall her as you open the door. She's like, "Oh, Mr. Allsun, I should get used to you coming in at night like this. I was just finishing up. You wanted me to start storing whole blood. We didn't have enough space before. I think I've moved the racks over. And the C samples of storage containers are receiving enough power. So like now we don't have to worry about them, losing power.
Okay.
So yeah. Okay. Is there anything you needed? She looks pretty nervous.
I just need one of those whole blood samples. We're going to be using one of the spare ones to test out one of the cooling methods.
Oh, okay, of course. Sure. Just kinds of things. Like, by the way, I just want to say you may hear people grumbling about the extra work it is, because it is standard whole blood is pretty expensive, but I completely support it. I'm willing to do the work. I think it's really interesting. She hands a thing like, "Are you pleased?" And she.
I like your enthusiasm.
Oh, sure.
And I'm glad that we get the opportunity to do this work.
Yeah. Oh, anyway, well, I think I'm done with that. I have to run a couple test sets on machines. It was kind of glitching.
I'll look over and I'll point out. Make sure that you fill out your logs all the way.
Oh, absolutely. And she turns around and she walks over to the clipboard that's kind of hanging out the wall and takes it off and starts, fumbling through it, like filling out paperwork, just making sure everything's there.
And I will walk out with bag in hand and walk over to Hannibal.
Walks over to a very large blood bag. It's actually not your typical blood bag. There's like a bag encased in like a sort of a metal container. It looks to be suspended in some sort of fluid of some sort. There's a cap at the end of it for draining or filling. And it looks to have some sort of battery input device. It has like a green and red glowing button type thing.
We should probably depart now. And I will, within the silhouette, taking note of where she might be able to see.
Sure.
I will hand the canister over to Hannibal.
Okay. You hand it over to him.
I'll use Shadow Cloak to mask myself, just in case.
Okay. See,
I'll
man.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, you finish.
I was going to say I'll get close to Charlie and I'll be like, is it safe for me to drink this here? Or should I wait?
Probably be best to do that outside.
Okay.
But if you need to do it here, I can make a distraction.
I can wait. It's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So with that, I assume that you were leaving? Or... Okay. Going back to Lillith and Herkermer. Did Lillith and Herkermer stay together? Correct?
No, I believe Herkermer was going to go pick up the delivery, and I was going to go home.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, you, Lilith, you were doing the surgery thing, then headed home. I'm picking up a drop, and then I'm going to head over to Lilith's house.
Okay, so we'll arrive at Herkermer. Herkermer, you you have to wait. Yes.
Also, I would stop by my house to my spot to pick up my own and to slake my hunger, and also pick up a little bit more refrigerator magnet and a little more choleric blood if I can find it, or if I have to talk to whoever the person is, I will see if I can find it.
You could. It takes some time to distill the solution down. When you do have the supplies to do it.
Right. Okay, so that takes too much time.
Yeah, you'd have to cook it down and things like that.
Okay.
But you could take the supplies with you. It's not an issue, and do it later. You could do it technically really anywhere.
Okay, well, I will disassemble my emergency set basically.
Sure.
And bring that with me over to Lilith's place.
Okay. So after leaving the hospital, you called Desmond to come pick you up because he had the car, if you recall.
Yeah.
And he drives by, opens the door, and he's like, "Oh, hey, man."
Hey, yeah, crazy shit.
Crazy. You didn't bring that. You didn't bring the full thickness, would you? Did you?
No, I didn't grab any out of there.
Oh, can't trust full bloods, man. They got the jack. What you got?
Well, you know, something always beats jack, though. No, I need to make a stop off here.
Okay.
Pick up some stuff, and then I'm going over to the Full Blood's house.
Why you gotta do that? I was figuring we could just hang out,
Well, hey, because she's new, and I don't want to see her making mistakes like I did when you found me.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty nice. That's what I always like about you, man. You're a good Samaritan.
Good Samaritan. Yeah, that's rich.
Yeah. He starts driving. Oh, I got that stuff for you, man. Oh, and the boss. Is Betty okay?
Yeah, they got her into surgery, and they're looking after her.
Okay, because she's on the juice, man. Boss's favorite one. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay. Well, I don't think there'll be anything too much off about her.
Okay,
just give her some time.
Okay. Oh, hey, you want a sip? You want a sip of some the special sauce, huh? Like earlier, I could make some. We could spend some time. You don't have to go to Full Blood's house. I know you want to be nice to her and stuff, but they tend to.
Well, I really do, but I don't know. Maybe you'd be interested in showing the new one how to have some fun.
Nah, they don't like me, man. They don't like me. I'm too half pint for them. Okay, well, here you are. I could, I'll just drop off here. I'll grab my. Oh, hey, you got that phone, man?
Oh, yes, I do. Here you go.
Oh, hey, God, this is a crazy night, wasn't it?
Yeah, hey, absolutely crazy.
You want to take a selfie? Yeah, let's take a selfie.
No, I'm good.
Come on, man. And he takes the phone out.
All right. Gets in there, give him a nice, shoulder bro hug.
He's like, yeah, and he kind of. I'm gonna
shoot a little finger gun at the camera.
I'm gonna keep that good memories, man. Okay, take it easy, boss.
Yeah, hey. You have a good one as well, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Get out, collect my stuff, get back in my car.
Okay.
And
you notice that he had he gestures towards the trunk. He's like, "Oh yeah, his stuff's back there, man."
All right, good looking out.
Yeah, no problem.
Go grab it out, take it with me. Is it okay if I describe my car showing up to Lilith's?
Sure.
You hear it before you see it.
Oh yeah.
It's like a 1967 Oldsmobile Cutlass that backfires, and you can hear the fan belt. Reep, 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 reep. You know, it's a complete and utter shitbox that you hear well before you ever see.
Mhm. So you come pulling up, and I assume you park it like with the in a place that says that if you turn it on, you might be you're gonna conveniently be on a hill. So if it doesn't start, you could like push start it or something.
Yeah.
That like sort of telltale fear. It's like I'm just gonna bump it right here.
Yep.
And then you turn the car off, and you're like, okay, hope it starts next time. And then you get out, and you see Lilith lives in a little deeper into the east side, in a part of town called Old Town. Old Town was once suburban neighborhoods. It was kind of the boom back in the 60s and 70s when a lot of industrial workers and port workers and so forth made their living here, and bought a house in the piece of the American dream, as it were. Since the decline, slowly and steadily in the 80s, it's kind of turned into a lesser shade of itself. The old houses that are typically 2 stories, maybe 3 stories with broad decks, and open sort of like curve or hilly sort of front lawns, now have like gates in front of them, and they don't leave valuable things on the decks just because people might be passing by and steal something from their porch. You notice there's gates on most of the houses. The windows, the shades are drawn typically. There's cars parked all along the side of the road, even in the parts where there's not really a sidewalk or anything convenient for a car to park. You do manage to find that special place where you may be able to roll the car if it does not end up starting on you. And you walk up to her house, which is just a simple 1-story house, small. It has a garage. You notice that the basement come peeking out on her lights, I'm presuming that Lilith would be downstairs or upstairs?
Downstairs.
Oh, you're muted.
It's the phrase of 2020. You're muted.
That's okay.
Lilith is downstairs right now.
Okay, so you notice the lights on from downstairs, just peeking out behind black plastic that's been kind of draped over, or daylight curtains or something, right?
Daylight curtains, more than likely. Yeah, they're still open because it's still dark outside.
Okay. And you heard his car come up, and then a couple minutes later, I'm assuming Herkermer knocks.
Oh yeah. Just a nice little rap.
Okay, I'll open the door, and welcome to my humble abode.
It's a nice place you got here.
Thank you.
Let me get this all settled down. Herkermer comes in. He's got like a cooler in one hand and a fairly full duffel bag slung over the other shoulder. You mind if I do a little bit of cooking here while I'm here?
That's
all
fine.
right.
Okay.
Come on in. Sets the cooler down. Pushes it toward, or actually hands it to Lilith. That's for you. Be gentle with it.
Okay.
Yeah, that should take care of that rumbly in your tumbly.
Yeah, I had a cat named Daisy.
Oh,
And yeah, I ate her.
oh, horrible. Herkermer holds his arms out like for a hug.
She gives him a hug.
Oh, come here. Oh. Oh, man, you'll be all right. You'll be
Yeah,
all right. Just don't eat no more cats, huh?
I'm trying.
And
Let's go back. So you have the whole blood. You have a bag of blood that you used to cook with, because I said you had the.
and you see me pull. You got a little table or something I can use?
Sure, like a counter spot or a table.
Either way will work.
Okay. I'll clear off the counter a little bit and give him some space.
right. I'm still
So
all right.
I'm clearing up space on the counter for you.
Yeah, and you see him start to pull out like burners and beakers and tubes and just little all kinds of chemical or chemistry set looking stuff. But none of it's actual chemistry stuff except for like the burners. The rest of it's all like mason jars and Ziploc bags and things held together with wire ties. And just imagine a homeless person having a chemistry set.
So what do you?
Oh, it's a little interesting, but you just watch.
Okay,
And
you're not gonna blow up my kitchen, are you?
I mean, fire is a possibility.
Well, I'll cut you if you burn my kitchen.
I haven't burnt any kitchen yet. So
Okay.
So Herkermer begins to
work his magic.
work his magic. Okay, so the process does take some time. You see Herkermer take the blood and put it into the kitchen pot instead of a Bunsen burner sort of thing, and let it cook and bubble, and he begins scraping and things. Around about this time, Charlie and Hannibal, yes.
I was going to ask, since I did stop back off, Herkimer stopped off at his place.
Mm-hmm.
Can I slake some of my hunger now, or
Yeah, you can regain 1 hunger because you were able to get
Okay.
the blood, enough blood, and you were only at 2 from what I understand, right?
Yeah, but I had to do a rouse check that I failed.
Oh, so that would have put you at 3. So
Right, that's why I was asking
Yeah.
if I could.
you could be enough down to 1. That's fine.
Okay, cool.
So you begin cooking, putting the blood in there and rubbing magnet grade refrigerator magnets, copying it down and cutting it up.
Yeah.
Around this time, Charlie and Hannibal arrive. You have a much harder time finding a place to park, but you do. You have to walk no short amount of distance, about a block or 2, to find her place after driving by it several times. And how do you approach? Do you want to knock on the door? Or just excuse me, I apologize.
I will kind of sense the unseen if I can,
Okay. So
and look around and see if I can see anything.
sense the unseen.
It's resolve plus awareness, if I remember right, when you're actively scanning.
Go ahead and give me wits plus aspects. And don't forget to substitute in your hunger dice.
Oh, I was thinking resolve plus aspects. That was my confusion.
Yeah, it's against resolve plus aspects. You're correct. If you're, it could be either or wits or resolve, depending on the circumstances.
Yep.
7 and a 9, and the hunger die is a 2.
Okay, 7 and a 9. Okay, so you get 2 successes. You look around, using your supernatural ken to pierce and see things that people wouldn't know, or that the shadows bleed away and become much brighter. You notice up on the tree that is standing kind of out in the next door neighbor's yard. It's a very large tree, an evergreen one. On the branch is a bird that does not look like a normal bird or acts or behaves like a normal bird. You sense it has some sort of it seems to look at you and be observing and staying very still, stiller than a bird would be, instead of just chirping and then flying off or doing bird things. It's just almost like
I'll point it out to Hannibal.
Almost like it's guarding. After being pointed out, you do see it, Hannibal. It doesn't... unless you use a similar supernatural thing, it looks like a bird to you. but it is saying
I do
still.
have sense the unseen, but I'll trust Charlie
Okay.
that something's off. I will. Two things.
Sure.
How much hunger did I get back from the blood canister?
A bag of blood gives you back 1 hunger slate.
Okay, cool. So I go from 3 to 2.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And then the next thing is I will walk towards the tree.
Okay, once you start watching towards you're obviously like approaching, you're right up on the perimeter of her property.
Sure.
Kind of off below, and it's off to the left above you, and it seems to be looking down at you. And it takes a couple steps back on the tree, like kind of regarding you cautiously. As much closer now, you can see that it's a small bird that is actually a little larger than it normally is. It's like some sort of raven that's a little larger than a normal raven.
I'll motion like I did with my head for it to like come down.
Okay. It caws at you and then flaps down. Perches itself on the small. What's the color? Does she have a white picket fence?
She has a white picket.
Oh, okay.
Aww.
She does have a white picket fence,
Yeah.
yes.
It lands on the white picket fence. Is kind of regarding you, like, doing the bird buff up thing, and gives you a caw. Caw. And just is looking at you with there's an intelligence now that it's close to you. That's behind those eyes.
Are you a ghoul? I'm asking a bird if it's a ghoul seems weird. I'm saying this out loud, by the way.
You could swear it almost smirks, but you can't quite tell because it has a beak, not a face.
Do you know the kindred that lives inside?
It swivels its head and looks inside, and then looks back. Caw!
I don't speak bird, but
And just kind of momentarily flaps as if to let you enter, over to the next little ribbed peak, and it's just like watching you. And then if you move, it goes and flaps back up to its branch. But it doesn't seem to be threatening you or flying off or anything like that. What's Charlie?
Strange.
What's Charlie doing during all this? Is he just standing there observing?
This is a completely new phenomenon. He had no idea that animals do this.
Mm-hmm.
There are now cogs turning in his head about the scientific and medical applications of such knowledge, and he's just kind of sitting there in awe.
Okay. So do you continue on your way, or?
Yeah, but he's gonna stare at the bird kind of as he moves forward.
Okay. The bird just watches you and then goes back to watching the street, looking to both ways, cawing at nearby birds that are kind of flying by, but other than that, it just seems to be poignantly guarding and observing.
Okay.
So you stand in front of her doorway. What do you do?
Knock, knock.
You hear a knock.
I'll go to the door and look through the peephole, make sure that it's who I'm expecting and not somebody else, and I'll open the door. And welcome to my abode.
Okay. You open the door and you see a rather homey-looking residence. It has a kind of a mixture of some newer styles of furniture, but there's also some old pieces that seem to have like junk piled up on them, like, you know, books and clothes and things like that you would see from a person who kept their place at a certain amount of order, but not any organization method known to people who are cleaner or neater. But it's not meant like dirty, just disorganized. You get a waft immediately of some sort of foul substance that is kind of emanating from the kitchen in big, huge, steaming clouds. You can't quite identify the smell, but it's bad. It smells like bad milk or something.
Cooking something.
That smell is awful.
Oh, yeah. You get used to it.
I wouldn't want to.
Well, believe me, when it gets done, it has a thing for me. It allows me to do things. I tried to use it on old boy, but I wasn't sure. He was a very strong man. Or, well, very strong. What's the word you use? Kindred. That's the word.
Or lick.
A lick?
Why lick?
Like to lick something?
Yes.
That sounds a little weird.
It's a popular term for kindred. Kindred
That's
is
weird.
kind of old.
Lick. Yeah.
Wait, do you mean lich?
No.
Like what you do with your tongue. A lick.
Huh.
Most times a feeding ends with a lick.
Alright, I've never heard of them before. Does that happen often with with y'all's kind?
Yes, if we feed on a person, we bite into them, and we lick it.
I understand. I don't mean feeding. I mean, what happened to him?
Who?
The guy in the hospital.
What do you mean what happened to him? We've jumped subjects very, very quickly with little understanding of what you're actually asking here.
Before we go too far in this, can I just say thank you, Lillith, for inviting us to your home?
Of course. Thank you for not killing me.
I would not kill you.
I don't know that. I just met you, so I don't know you. That's why I'm saying this could all be an elaborate setup to kill me, or this could be genuine.
I think we're all in the same boat here, really, with the exception of Hannibal.
How long have you guys been this way?
I'll motion to Charlie to speak first, if he wants to.
Well, a few months.
Are you part of the Red Queen's crew, or?
Not as of yet. I was originally intended to be a member of the tower.
What tower?
That's a
The
good
group
question.
of kindred who are on the left. Or west.
Or
Right?
west?
It was west.
Yes.
Okay, west. Who are west?
Yes.
Are they the ones that have that big government that they kind of keep? They have like this government amongst kindred or something that I heard.
Well, the entirety of the society of kindred is divided. The largest portion of those members are belonging to the tower, which is more organized and happens to have more of a governmental structure. Yes, you are correct in that. There are two other sects which I know of. I don't know much of them, but I am aware of their existence. One
How
being the
How many of them
Anarchs.
are there that there's so many sects?
We're, what, 4 in a city? And we know many more. We've seen others. Spread that across the globe. The larger the city, the more there are.
Amen.
Now, as you can imagine, we all don't get along. Not all of us. And as with any being with intelligence, there's bound to be politics. So, different organizations pop up. From what I understand, this is how the other two groups, the Anarchs and the... Oh, what were they called? The Sabbat?
Sabat are dead. They are no more.
Who were they?
From what I'm told, blasphemers.
They are zealots.
They're zealots, but they're blasphemers. How are they blasphemers? I can understand zealotry, but zealotry towards what?
Belief, from what I'm told.
What's their belief?
Old beliefs. Not sure.
From what I understand, they simply had a different perspective on how to exist.
It was more than that. There was a spirituality, a difference of spirituality. That is why they disagreed.
And who considers them blasphemers?
The tower.
Do the Anarchs?
I'm unsure.
So who is this Red Queen? Is this Red... If the Red Queen is not Tower, then is she Anarch?
She could be an Anarch. She could be independent. Maybe she has enough clout or followers that she's remained independent of the tower.
So there's independence as well.
Yes.
I can only assume, but...
Yes.
Okay. So we have...
They are often referred to as outcasts.
I mean, and the Red Queen goes around killing outcasts?
No, what I'm saying is that there's the tower, and there are the outcasts.
Right, but you said that if I don't go and show myself... Oh, I see. I have to go and meet whoever controls the area
Yes.
in order to... It doesn't matter who I represent or follow.
Yes.
It's like walking upon someone else's land,
Okay.
and that person is angry on the porch with a shotgun.
Yes. It
Okay.
would be like if I came here into your home and I took something of yours that was important to you. You would
Except
harm me.
Except I was in my home, and then I got turned into this, and through no fault of my own, I am still in my home. Unless I want to be home.
I'm not,
Herkermer.
as a mortal is the term that's sometimes used.
Yeah.
Dependent on the kindred. They may care or not care about mortals. Some may view them as property. Others may aspire to connect to them. And so, as a mortal, you had no rights. As kindred, you have some rights. It just depends who is in charge. The benefit in this situation, although, as I said, I am new to town and do not know this Red Queen. I am also not familiar with the Anarchs that Charlie spoke of. I know very little to nothing about them. I have only turned outcast. There was the tower, and there was outcasts. And so I don't know what they will be like.
How do you guys know that you're supposed to meet a Red Queen?
Because we are told that is who is in charge. When you ask a kindred who live here, when you meet them, normally what is most polite is to introduce yourself and to say, hello, I'm new, etc. And then they will usually tell you whose territory, turf, that you are on. And from what I understand, from what a kindred we had met, me and Charlie, this Red Queen has almost like serfdoms, if you understand that term.
Mm-hmm.
She gives parcels of land to people to look after, groups of kindred. He called them patches. And so my assumption is that this is presumably the way that the Red Queen rules, is that it is not me that, I'm not saying that it might be the Red Queen who kills you if you are found to poach. It might be those who serve you. Perhaps you are walking into what they consider their home, and you are taking something that is important to them, which is their food, or their ghouls, or their resources. And so because of this, they will kill you, or they will torpor you, bring you before the Red Queen for judgment, whatever the case may be. This is why I'm saying that if you introduce yourself, you take a good step forward. And the reason that I pointed out that this helps Charlie is because Charlie is in a predicament, and anything that he can do to show respect will greatly benefit him as well. So
Why? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
It's fine.
So, why are you guys? Do you guys live on this side of the river?
No, I do. He gives a
Charlie-
half-hearted chuckle.
Charlie's story is his to share if he wishes to share that with you.
Okay.
To answer your earlier question, though, I am several years long as a kindred, or a lick.
I am about 2 weeks old.
I've spent roughly 3 years, roughly, as a lick. So still, to keep in mind that there are other kindred who have lived for a long time. And so to them, they will see all of us as young kindred, whether we are 3 weeks old, 3 months old, or 3 years old. To them, we are disrespectful if we don't follow their protocol or their rules.
Well, I suppose we'll see tomorrow. Are we going tomorrow night, or?
We could. I have a previous engagement tomorrow night. Myself and Charlie do. I'm not sure if I could bring you along, but if we do have time tomorrow evening, we will definitely go to meet the Red Queen. Sooner would be better.
Yeah, I agree. Seeing her sooner than later would be better.
I wanted to
So-
ask you a question, Lillith. Sorry to interrupt you.
Oh,
Herkermer? Yes.
yeah, that's my name. What's up?
Lillith, have you ever fed someone your blood?
I don't think so.
Yeah.
No, I didn't feed you my blood.
Or who were you asking?
I was asking Lilith. That's why I said her name.
Why?
There is a strange bird outside. It's watching your home. There are rumors I have heard of licks with powers that allow them to transform, but I'm unsure if that's what it is or if it is a very smart ghoul. It didn't wish to appear to me if it was a lick, so I let it be. I wasn't sure if it was your ghoul or not.
I don't even know what a ghoul is. What is it?
A ghoul is the term for when you give a mortal your blood, whether it's a person or an animal, and that thing becomes obedient and subservient to you. It gains a taste of your power, your strength, speed, whatever the case may be. But it also becomes obsessed with you.
Weird.
Yes.
Yeah, no, I haven't done anything like that.
So then I would tell you that I don't know who this kindred is or who this ghoul serves, if it is a ghoul, but someone is watching you.
So what should I do? Because it's like right by my house.
Yes, it's outside. If you try to follow it, it might prove hard for you, dependent on whatever it might be. I could try to look into it more, if that would be something you're all right with.
Or I could go and chase it down with a broom.
I mean, it's obviously aware that I'm aware of it. And as I said, I don't know if it's a ghoul or a person, or a kindred. We'll see, though. If it starts acting even stranger after the conversation I had with it,
You had a conversation with a bird?
yes,
Did it talk back to you?
responded to me as though it understood what I was saying. Didn't speak in the human tongue, if that's what you're wondering. It does exist, though. There are kindred out there, although I'm not sure who, but I've heard stories that there are kindred who can change into animals in the same way that I can change myself in slight ways.
Can you do that, Herkermer?
What? Change shape?
Yeah.
I mean, I can lop off an arm or something. No, I can't change shape. I can levitate stuff as soon as I get this thing done cooking.
Oh, is that what you're doing?
Oh, yeah.
I thought you were cooking blood meth thing.
No, though Desmond might be intrigued by the idea. He's probably already done that.
Blood meth? Really?
Desmond is an interesting person.
Is Desmond like you?
As far as I know. But aside that, I don't suppose that really matters. What matters is that in my time of need, he came, he found me, he told me a little bit about what's up. And, well, he's been keeping me safe.
It's very nice of him.
And I try and do this, and I try and do the same. Goes for anybody I call my friend.
I see.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna walk outside with a broom in my hand.
Okay, so you exit your house.
I'm going to watch, by the way.
You come out with a broom on your hand, in your hand. Your front lawn is kind of, like I said, most of the lawns are here hilly because Old Town is kind of a hilly area. It's not like steep hills, but your grass hasn't been mowed in roughly about 2 or 3 weeks. So it's kind of overgrown in parts and bits, and you look around, presumably for the bird, and the bird's still sitting on the branch. You see it often. It's on your neighbor's tree, which overhangs over your yard.
Is there anybody looking?
No, the anybody whose lights are on, which is pretty much nobody on this block, but any house that would have its lights on is pretty much blinds or closed or curtains because it's invites people to look in, unwanted eyes and that sort of thing. So yeah, no, it's a middle of the night.
Okay, so I'm going to look at the bird. I'm not pointing at it.
Okay.
I'm gonna motion him. Come over here.
Bird looks at you and gives you a caw, and sort of flaps down on top of your fence, and is just looking at you like, you don't really know. It's like what?
Well, I'm gonna look at it and say, "Who are you? Show yourself to me, or I'm gonna hit you with this broom."
Cocks its head as though it doesn't quite believe you.
I'm gonna hit it with the broom.
And it flaps. The bird's extremely dexterous, obviously. And since it was warned,
Show that fucking bird.
Yeah.
Right.
kind of flies over to the next peg. It's just like, it looks offended.
If any of the neighbors come out, I am gonna look over at them and be like, "It pooped on her car," that kind of thing. But just in case, I've got that locked and loaded just in case.
Okay, you just keep that one in the chamber.
Yeah, exactly.
The bird looks at you and is like, it kind of presents itself like, caw.
Are you gonna keep cawing at me, or are you gonna tell me who you are, or are we gonna do this? I'm talking to a bird. I'm fucking talking to a bird in the middle of the fucking night.
Okay, you look inside its eyes, and it starts cawing at you. And for a brief moment, you think you hear something. It's not something that you hear auditorily, like in your ears. It's almost like you sense it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Lillith, during character creation, you decided to opt for me to choose your disciplines. As you were a newly embraced kindred.
Yep.
So, we're gonna go ahead and add your dot of animalism. And you are going to gain sense the beast.
I'm gonna write this down in my handy dandy notebook.
You should. That is one of the most useful powers in this game, in my opinion.
You look at it and you kind of hear it. You can't quite make out what it's saying, of course. You're not communicating in any form or fashion, but you gain a sense of what it is. You can now see it in a light. It looks much bigger. Its intelligence is flashing through its eyes. It does not look as smart as a human does, but it is definitely intelligent. And you sense a vibrancy within it, like a a connection that it might have with something else. It looks, well, you identify it. It's not kindred in any fashion. It is an animal, but it looks like it's been enhanced, or you feel a vibrancy that kind of changes it and makes it more at your level, I should say.
Okay.
That's granting its intelligence, and it seems to be following, being obeying of some sort. It doesn't seem aggressive or angry, or doesn't feel hunger like you do. And you can
So, oh, go
you
ahead.
can also kind of notice now when you step back, you're like, okay. You can now sense, you see Hannibal in a different light than you would normally see him. You see the pallor of his skin, the fact he doesn't breathe. You notice that slight look when he's looking at the animal, that quiver, ever so slightly, that would be imperceptible to a human being's normal senses. That says, the impulse that you feel on a nightly basis towards other animals and humans that carry that sanguine refreshment.
I'm gonna grab the broom. I'll look at Hannibal. I'm gonna grab this thing some corn or something. I'll be back. Unless it's somebody's pet. It's a ghoul, I think.
It is a ghoul then.
Yeah, I was able to somehow see its intelligence, like I could communicate with it. I'll be right back. I'm gonna take the broom. I'm gonna go inside. I'm gonna grab some corn, like canned corn, and then I'm gonna grab a little, like, in the living room I have like a little jewelry box. I'll grab like a little costume jewelry ring and bring it out,
Okay.
and then I will offer it to him along with the corn.
Okay, the bird flops down, starts eating the corn up with, fervor, as birds often do. And then it looks over at the ring, and it grabs the ring with its beak, and it flaps back up to the tree, where it seems to be, still holding the ring.
Bird's like, I figure if it's somebody's pet, it's not harming me. Making friends with it would be ideal.
Perhaps. It is not the fear of what the bird will do to you. It's the
What it'll
fear of,
bring back
Ooh.
its vacation.
yes. The fear is who is watching you.
Maybe the Red Queen's agents, because they already know. And they're waiting for me to go and make myself known.
Perhaps.
What did the ring look like?
It was a little like an onyx ring. It's a very simple silver ring with like a little onyx stone set on like a little, like a crown almost.
Okay. So onyx ring set inset, or a silver ring with an onyx inset inside of silver crown.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm making a note. There's a bird out there with a ring. So. Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
So are you just going back inside at this point, or?
I'll look at Hannibal and then I'll motion inside.
Okay.
I'll
While
walk back.
while they were outside, Charlie and Herkermer were alone, more or less. Charlie, you now get a pretty good firm sight of what Herkermer's cooking up here. He has like this pot on a Bunsen burner, and it's got this like bubbling liquid that's now quite thick. He seems to be putting some sort of metal shaving bits into it. You don't know what they were originally, but you see the remnants of his dissection. He's throwing. What were the other ingredients?
It is my blood, choleric human blood, and a choice between melted nylon fibers, grated refrigerator magnet, or weird nootropics ordered off the internet.
Okay, so
I'm using like filings of refrigerator magnets.
Okay. And he basically just like he mixes in. You see him, open up his own blood, which at that point you would, because you are dumping a point. Go ahead and give me a rouse check, real quick.
Okay.
Yes, Lilith.
When you're done with this, have a point of note because it was silver, and I have a flaw against silver.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I rolled a 9. I am successful in my rouse check.
Sure. Okay. So you don't feel the hunger. You manage to beat the sensation and the craving down. You notice that you spend a second fixated on the sanguine substance coming out of your body as you force it. You don't bleed like a normal person does, even blushed. You kind of, you'll bleed for a little bit superficially, right? But you really got to force a lot of it out of you in order to really bleed in a gushing manner.
Right.
And it drips into the thing and it cooks for a little bit, and then you take out the sifter, and you run it through a sifter into another pot, and then you let it begin to cool and distill. Go ahead and make your distilling roll for me.
There's a distilling roll?
Yes, there is. Let me just look it up again, just to be sure.
There's distilling types.
It's Fixiato, right?
Yeah.
Distills it inside, make an intelligence alchemy roll.
Intelligence alchemy roll.
Mm-hmm.
Am I including my hunger dice?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you're substituting your hunger dice.
Yeah. Yeah. I got 3 successes.
3 successes. Okay. It's okay, so you managed to distill it inside your Athenor into a substance. Okay, so you have now a quantity of uses of your magic potion, as it were.
Okay.
What is Charlie's reaction to this? Like, because this is a pretty, morbidly weird process, right? And it smells bad, by the way.
It smells horrible.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was saying earlier, you get used to it, especially when it offers you the opportunity to do this. I'll show off a little bit. Doug.
Yeah.
I want to take a little bit of the substance, basically how many applications do I make per cook? 1 or
that's what I was
multiple?
that's what I was just looking up, is how many applications you have. Formula, pressure cooker, expedient.
Because I didn't even see that part, and I read through there a few times.
Yeah, fixing can carry a number fixed formula equal. Store number fixed for equal to twice the sum in alkali dots. Never feature almost necessary. It says how many you can carry, like how many you can make at one time.
Right.
But I'm not seeing.
Which is how many can I make at one time?
Equal.
I didn't see that.
To your wits or dexterity. And you can store a number of fixed formulae of any level equal to twice the sum of alchemy plus their dots in Haven. So, yeah, weird. Okay. I'll say you have, let's just say 3 uses. Let's do
Okay.
that. I mean, that's
Okay.
I'll have to look over the week. I'll dive a little bit deeper. It's the first time using blood alchemy in the game, so this is going to happen.
Like I said, I read over it a few times and I didn't even see all that stuff.
Yeah, there's a lot to it. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, then I will take a little bit, basically 1 dose of it,
Mm-hmm.
and again rub it on my hands,
Sure.
and then, all right. Go ahead and pick an object in the room here.
4.
I'll show you what this little concoction of mine does.
Now
This
you
is not my house. It's not. These are not my objects to be tampering.
Very true.
you do know
Reaches into the.
real quick, Herkermer. You do know that activating it will instigate another rouse check. Just check.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Well, Herkermer will ruffle through his duffel bag, and he will pull out a horseshoe. Just a plain old metal horseshoe that's kind of rusted, busted up looking. He sets it on the kitchen floor, and I'm gonna take this rouse check, which I'm successful on with an 8. And then you see Herkermer start to kind of wave his hand about a little bit, kind of almost like a puppeteer. And then the horseshoe, or do I need to make a roll? Excuse me.
Yeah, go ahead and make your rouse check first.
I did. I succeeded with an 8.
Okay.
And now I roll my resolve plus alchemy.
Yes.
Substituting 1 hunger die. I got 2 successes.
That's enough to manipulate the horseshoe.
Awesome. I make the horseshoe dance about for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
and then not with enough force to do any damage, but it stops, and then it goes directly at Charlie's face.
Okay.
And then it stops about an inch away in kind of a rapid motion, like it's being thrown at him, but it stops like about 6 inches away from Charlie's face.
Okay, Charlie, you have this horseshoe like suspended in air. I mean, when you go to see a magic show or something like that, only only this is right up in front of you, and you saw him do it. So it's that there's no special well, maybe, I don't know how speculative Charlie is about such things, but it's pretty incredible.
Okay. So you need to make these stinky little vials to do that.
In order to do that, yeah, I have to cook down some stuff. And no, it doesn't smell all that great, but smell versus effect. I favor the effect over the smell.
Don't get me wrong, it's interesting, but I wonder, is the process truly worth it?
Maybe not for just this, but if what my friend has been telling me is right, shortly here I'll be doing things that'll blow your mind.
At that point, Lillith and Hannibal come walking back in. Yes.
Hannibal, after the whole bird thing,
Sure.
Hannibal actually wants to have a private conversation with Lillith outside before we go.
Oh,
back in.
yeah, sure. Oh, and in concerns with the ring, go ahead and mark one of your willpower. Put a little hash on your willpower you take 1 point of willpower damage because you can push through your block, but you have to spend a willpower to do so. And then, going back to Lillith and Hannibal, as Charlie and Herkermer is impressing Charlie with his magic horseshoe trick.
Yep.
We go back to Lillith and Hannibal.
So once Lilith gets to that point where she's done with the bird thing, and we had that conversation, and she seems like, like it seems like the conversation is shifting or ending, and there's some sort of pause or long pause, and Lilith had basically motioned to go back inside. Hannibal will actually just stop her for a moment, like he'll turn, shut the door, and just sort of stop her for a moment, not in a threatening way or anything like that, but more in just like, give us a moment. There will be a pause where it seems like he's looking for the right words to say. Like you can tell that it's like on the tip of his tongue, but he's not sure how to start it. And then I want you to understand something. When I had said that you might die, I wasn't trying to threaten you. I was trying to point out to you the reality of the world you find yourself in now.
Well, I appreciate that.
There is obviously a lot of things that your sire hasn't taught you. Mentor, whatever the case may be. And that puts you in a very dangerous position. I remember what that was like. Something similar happened to me. And I would tell you the lesson that I learned from all of it over these last few years. Distrust is your greatest ally. All kindred are selfish.
So a healthy level of skepticism, I got it.
Yes.
Okay.
This is why I feel I'm sharing this with you. It's obvious that you're skeptical. It's obvious that you distrust in some ways. And that's good. Why is this Herkermer man so trustworthy? How long have you known him?
I met him tonight. I blacked out in an ambulance that he was riding in. Where Betty was. I was treating Betty, and then I blacked out, and I woke up with his arm in my face. Apparently, I drank from him.
There's a term for these things, but there's sort of a catch-all that Licks will use. It's called a frenzy. There are variations of it. But it seems to be like what you experienced.
Yeah, I think that might have happened with my cat, too, because I ate my cat, apparently.
Yes.
I haven't been apparently consuming nearly enough.
Yes. This is why I had talked about that if you didn't introduce yourself, you would eventually get found. Because these sorts of things happen. And with no connections. And to use the term very loosely, with no allies, it becomes hard to survive on your own. And so these situations become more frequent.
Well, I mean, I didn't know anyone else aside from me who was in my predicament, aside from the guy that bit me. And that's why I kind of latched on to Herkermer, because he was willing to help me out and not put me down.
I want you to understand something that might potentially happen when Herkermer comes to meet these people. I had said that you should be afraid of being killed. Yes, all kindred should fear death. I don't know enough about Thin Bloods to tell you anything, but from what I have heard, people fear Thin Bloods. Not because they are dangerous necessarily. They can sometimes be. But because of what is spoken about them. You see, there are old stories. You know how, like, humans talk about the end of the world, right?
Mm-hmm.
Kindred have those sorts of stories too. And in some of them, it is the Thin Blood's fault, or at least that's what the older ones try to say. They might not trust him. They might fear him. And just be aware of that the connection you hold to him could put your life in danger too.
I guess we'll jump off that bridge when we get to it.
Sure. And with that, Hannibal will open the door and head back inside. With Lillith pursuing.
Okay. Well, we've come to the end of an evening. 4 lost souls have gravitated towards each other. The rain continues to pour. The bird continues to sit, attentive and watchful. These kindred finish their evening as sun begins to loom ever closer. That black turns to a blue. They say their farewells for the evening and go back to the place where they will slumber during the day until they will rise the next evening in our dark city.